SGS's third annual SGS podcast. We are going on week 4 now. Um, but recapping week 3 first. Gosh, do we have a lot to talk about, guys. We've had a lot of things go on, especially in the past 24 hours of trades. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about week 3 recap, week 4 projections. We're also going to talk about the standings. We're going to look at kind of my rankings. We got Bert's rankings as well, so I'll add those in here in case you didn't check those out. But I'll go ahead and add my rankings in here as well, which teams I think will win it, which teams I think are going to be on the bottom of the totem pole that have a chance of doing a punishment at the end of the year. So anyways, boys, let's go ahead and get into this. I think I'm going to kind of start off because, I mean, everyone's been talking about it. Just all of the trades and everything that have happened in our league. I feel like this is like the first topic we should definitely bring up first and look at some of the trades that happened specifically last night too, some of the waiver wire pickups as well. But we had a lot go on last night out of nowhere too. Trying to see where I should start. So first trade that happened this week. So that was last week, so... Okay, we talked about that one. We have this one that happened on Monday, which Kyle traded away DJ Moore and Evan Ingram, and Carson traded Kyle Pitts and Romeo Doubs. So pretty good acquisitions for both of them here. But as you could see, these acquisitions didn't last long for Carson. Carson started looking at a lot of trade options for his team. He's had a lot of players fall out this year. He's just trying to kind of recoup, get his team back together. So he decided to make some moves. So we actually had Seth and Crew make a really, really big trade right here. Mike Evans for Breece Hall. Very interesting trade. Breece Hall could end up being RB1 for sure at the Jets because Dalvin Cook's not looking that great. But Breece Hall has the talent to be a really good running back. It's just their offense looks horrendous right now, and I don't think it's going to get any better. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get him involved more. And Crew went ahead and traded Mike Evans to Seth. So now Seth has Mike Evans, and Seth has a really deep wide receiver roster now. So pretty good pickups for both. My opinion on that trade, I don't really see it that even. Crew taking a risk on Breece Hall with a solidified Mike Evans, WR1 on the Bucks. So I mean that looks like a trade that Seth won in my mind. But yeah, that was very interesting in my book. Another trade that happened was Crew again. Crew traded Bijan Robinson to Carson, traded him for Jerry Jeudy and DJ Moore. This trade sparked an uproar. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of the trade. I think that this should be vetoed, but we'll let the whole group decide on it exactly. I'm sorry, Carson, but I just feel like with how DJ Moore and Jerry Jeudy have played this year, they have not put up great numbers. And you got Bijan Robinson, who's a first-round pick. You picked up two wide receivers that are arguably, they should be WR1s where they're at, but they're not right now, and they're struggling. The offenses look horrible. So, I mean, this is just not a trade I like that much. Bijan Robinson's got so much upside compared to those other two to me, but if the trade upheld, it's whatever. Not everything makes sense to me, but it is what it is. Anyways, going back, we had another trade happen too. Shortly after that, about an hour later, Connor Calivan went ahead and decided to talk to his brother, make a little business moves, and we got, now Carson has Devontae Smith, Dalton Schultz, and Samaje Perine, while Connor Calivan now has Kendrick Bourne, Josh Jacobs, and Evan Ingram. This is more of an even trade in my mind. This one for sure makes more sense. I think, personally, I think Connor Calivan might have won that trade more, but Devontae Smith is a huge pickup for you, Carson. Don't see a lot of upside with Samaje. Dalton Schultz has had a very slow start to the year, so we'll see what happens with that. and how those players play. And then we had one more trade happen a little shortly after that. It was just a little small trade. Zay Jones for Keandre Miller, two players. Keandre Miller's got a little bit of upside with New Orleans being their rookie running back, while Zay Jones has been injured, had a good solid first game, and he's just now coming back. So, but Crew and Connor Calvin making a deal there. But yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about some of these waiver pickups too, real quick. Devon A-Chain. So, Crew had the lucky waiver pickup spot and got Devon A-Chain. Good for you, man. He's looking like a really good start for this week. But they are playing a very tough Bills defense, so we'll see what happens. Connor Calvin got Joshua Palmer, big time waiver. He was one of the biggest waivers coming in, obviously, with Mike Williams being down. So Josh Palmer now being on Connor Calvin's team will be a big pickup for him. Chance Wofford went ahead and got DJ Chark, dropped Jonathan Mingo. So from the same team, DJ Chark obviously looking like he's going to be the WR2 with the Carolina Panthers. He's had a really good breakout game last week with Andy Dalton thrown to him. So we'll see if Bryce Young does the same. But DJ Chark, a little bit of a risk. I don't know if I would start him this week. I'd probably just keep him on your bench and see how he does next week. But anyways, any other big ones here? Seth picked up Jared Goff instead of dropped Matthew Stafford. Tajay Spears got picked up. Tennessee backup running back. Luke Musgrave, he's looking like a solid tight end. Bryce picked him up. Kadarius Toney got dropped. Calvin Austin's now picked up by Kyle. Calvin Austin had a little breakout game last week. Rico Dowdle had a little breakout game too, being the backup for Tony Pollard. He's a good handcuff. I like that you picked him up, Andy. That's good looking out if you have an extra roster spot. Ezekiel Elliott got picked up by Carson. CJ Stroud got picked up. I was looking at him. Andy got him, so he was already on it. And yeah, so pretty big pickups right there. I picked up Tyler Higbee. Cole Kmet's been dog shit, so don't really want to deal with him. Darius Slayton also got picked up by Jack. So, all right. So yeah, that's what's going on. God, a lot of shit. I mean, whole bunch of chaos and everything with trades and all that. But anyways, now we're gonna get to the scoreboard. We're gonna look at Week 3 recap, boys. So this week, quite a few matchups that weren't close, as you could tell, just off the first matchup we see here. Connor Calvin put up a whopping 39.4 points. Very disappointing week for his team. I mean, he had no contribution from anyone other than really Miles Sanders. Everyone else played really bad. No one on the bench played as great either, so just an overall really bad fucking week for Connor Calvin's team. Bryce, on the other hand, his team put up a solid outing, which is crazy, putting up 100 and winning by 60. So you don't really see that often. But yeah, Geno Smith had a solid game. Pacheco, Stephon Diggs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. So like I said, your wide receivers came in clutch for you. You have a better wide receiver core than Connor's. So they came in and showed out this week and produced. And Dameon Pierce had a pretty solid outing too. Their offense in Houston's looking pretty solid. So big time dub for Bryce. He's 2-1 now. Connor is now 1-2. So next up we got Jack and Crew. This was a game that I had Jack winning. Jack obviously has been playing out of his mind so far to start the season, getting 3 dubs in a row here. His team blew out Crew's. I mean, Crew just didn't get a lot of production out of his running backs. A fat 0 from Josh Reynolds. It was just very unfortunate. I mean, and Jordan Love popped off on your bench, but Jalen Hurts was the start there. I mean, just didn't have a lot of production. Team's a little beat up too. Trades are needing to happen for Crew, and that's why he's making them. Now, Jack, on the other hand, Jack's team's looking solid. His running backs have been consistent throughout the week. James Conner's been really consistent so far this year. Kirk Cousins has been blowing up. He's just been throwing the ball like crazy in Minnesota. But unfortunate for Jack that Mike Williams is now out for the year, so Jack is now down a receiver, which he does have Darnell Mooney, Jacoby Myers, Damian Harris. So we'll be interesting to see what happens. Cooper Kupp will be coming back too, so that'll be Very, very interesting to see Jack's team. But 3-0 without Cooper Kupp to start the year, Jack. I'm very impressed with your team. He now goes to 3-0, and Crew is now 0-3. Team is not looking good right now, Crew, but you're making moves, so we'll see um, if he'll get back in the winning column this year. Next up, we got Andy versus Seth. This is a 20-point win for Andy right here. Team just put up enough points to get a win, while Seth's team struggled. Running backs did not produce well. Really rough game for them. Justin Jefferson obviously carrying the team, which he probably will be every week with how Joe Burrow has started the season. So really, Justin Jefferson has been putting the team on your back. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a rough going for Seth with some of the players on the Cincy team not popping off to start the year as much. Andy, on the other hand, Andy's team's been doing pretty solid. Mari Cooper had a great game. Tony Pollard did okay. Didn't do his projection, but Dak Prescott did okay too. Not the best game for him. But he just put up enough points to be able to get the win. And his wide receivers, yeah, they didn't play as well, but Amari Cooper really helped him out, and so did Tony Pollard and Dak to at least put up enough points to get a win. So Andy is now 3-0. So we got Jack and Andy currently two 3-0 teams. I think the only 3-0 teams right now. So we'll see how much longer they are going to keep that into next week. Seth is now 1-2. So next up we got Chance and Jace. Chance's team, bounce back week for him. Chance was needing a dub here, going up against Jace's team, which I did think Jace was going to maybe pull out a win here, but Chance came out, got the win. ETN, Josh Allen had decent games. Travis Kelce, Kirk, Chiefs defense, Evan McPherson. I mean, talk about some pretty decent points put up. 121 is always a solid outing. Tank Dell on your bench was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Kind of look out for him for next week. Maybe start him. Now with Jace's team, Justin Fields has just been a disappointment to start the year. He has not been what we saw last year towards the end of the year, with some of the remarkable plays he was making, all the flash that he had. He hasn't really shown that much this year. He's definitely shown that he can run the ball, but passing-wise, he's been struggling. So he hasn't produced up to par for you, Jace. Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he's going to always put up numbers. So he was solid for you this week. Alexander Madison was solid. Just the wide receivers played not great. Mark Andrews didn't play good either. Puka Nacua, surprisingly, didn't have the best game for his liking. But yeah, it was just very unfortunate. Jace is getting Alvin Kamara back. So that'll be a must start probably for him this week. I think he's probably going to start him over Madison. We'll see. But yeah, so Jace is now 1-2, and Chance is 1-2 now. Got on the win column. Good job, Chance. Let's go, baby. Now, Bert versus Carson. Next matchup here. This one, 15-point win for Bert. Bert really put on a clinic here this week. Lamar Jackson had a really big game, so did Devontae Adams. So huge games from two of your stars, Jahmyr Gibbs and Joshua Kelly. Man, Kelly has just been a bust to start. Why, we don't know. Eckler's out. Joshua Kelly should be getting around the same reps. I mean, he's getting reps and everything you would think, but he's just not producing, and it's just very, very, it's bad. They've just been passing, you know? So, anyways. And then with Carson's team, Trevor Lawrence did okay. Keenan Allen had the huge week. Jerome Ford had a good game. Jerry Jeudy did okay. I mean, -2 from Cowboys defense definitely hurts you. But, I mean, he had two players put 30-plus up compared to yours that only put 37 up. One person. So I think just those 230 bombs that Hayden had, they got him the win. Romeo Dobbs on your bench, that's very unfortunate. But Romeo's looking good going through the rest of the week. So Romeo Dobbs. All right. Now we got Tuck and Kyle. Man, Tuck's team went off. Put up 166. Got a big win over Kyle. Herbert with the big game. Mostert with the big game. Jamar Chase. DK Metcalf. Chris Olave. Freiermuth. Patriots defense. I mean, what a week for Tuck, man. Team put up a clinic. Kyle's team, man, hey, you did decent. Kenneth Walker had a big game. Tua had a big game. Sam Laporta. DJ Moore did a little bit better than his projection. Michael Pittman was really close to his. Jake Elliott, good game. Derrick Henry with 2 is very concerning. I don't know what's going on with Derrick Henry right now in Tennessee. It's just not been a. It's been a very weird year. So so far for the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, I'm not really too sure how I feel about him right now. But big week for Connor Tuck, man. His team just popped off. He is now 1-2. He is on the win column. Kyle is now 2-1. So now I got me versus Dylan. Dylan had a really beat up team coming in the week. My team popped off. I mean, Mahomes performed well for me. Tyreek Hill, Zach Moss, Bills defense, DeAndre Swift, Brett Meyer. Very happy with how my players played this week. A little disappointed in Ramondre still, but we'll see it come soon. Komet sucks. Dylan's team, I mean, the only person that popped off were Sutton and Deshaun Watson. Everyone else had very, very average games, not even of their projections. So Jalen Waddle was hurt, and he still has Christian Watson on his bench. Saquon Barkley is out, so he's just beat up right now. Dylan's team's not looking good for these next couple weeks, but I'm sure he'll bounce back whenever his team starts getting more healthy. But I go to 2-1. Dylan is now 1-2. All right, boys. So that was the Week 3 recap. Now we're going to go into Week 4. Week 4 projections here, boys. Who I got winning, everything. And now I'm going to start keeping track of these, and I'm going to let you know what my record is after every pod every week, just to let you know how I did. I did not do this ones, unfortunately, this week, but I will do this one so I can see how I'm doing, like with my projections on who wins. But anyways, all right, so first matchup, me versus Crew. 55% chance for me. Cruz made a lot of big moves this week, so he's got Breece Hall now. He's got Devon A-Chain. He's got some players that scare me on his team right now. While I think I'm going to keep my lineup how it is, just keep it the way, because all these players should have some pretty good weeks, I hope. Playing some pretty tough defenses, but hopefully I'll get the dub. I'm sorry, Crew, if I have to smack you around, but it might happen. Anyways. All right, now we'll go to Carson and Dylan. Dylan's team, let's see. Jalen Waddle's questionable, so that's definitely an upgrade for Dylan. So we'll see how Hawkinson plays. Christian Watson is also questionable, so Dylan is getting some of his players back. So we'll see how his wide receivers pan out here. Carson, on the other hand, keeping pretty much the same team. He has definitely made some moves. He's starting Bijan Robinson, of course. He is going to be playing. And then he's keeping Zay Jones, Samaje, and Dalton Schultz on his bench right now, which is fine. I would do the same. But maybe Zay Jones and Gabe Davis this one's always very up in the air, but you could maybe make a move there if you feel like it's Zay Jones in a bad area there in Jacksonville with his targets. So, but overall, I got Carson winning this week. I still think Dylan's team's a little beat up. Christian Watson, I don't know if he's fully healthy coming in. Jalen Waddle, who knows if he's fully healthy coming in. Just from right now, from the healthiness perspective, I'm going with Carson's team this week. Next up, we got Kyle versus Jace. This will be a pretty good matchup here. Definitely close. Jace is projected 51% to win. Really kind of concerning QB-wise for Jace starting And as you can see, my mic turning off is a segment in the podcast now, apparently, every week. So sorry about that. Anyways, Justin Fields is a very risky start for you this week. Yes, they are playing Denver, and yes, Denver gave up 70. So I would say that there is some upside for him coming in this week. It's just we haven't seen their offense play good at all. And there are some QBs out there that you could start this week that could perform better. So it is a risk starting Justin Fields, but you could get a big reward. You are going up against Tua, so that's going to be a big matchup there. Now with the running backs, Kenneth Walker, Alexander Madison, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Henry is a risky start still, Kyle, but I mean you're just going to have to do it. There's no other running backs really that are intriguing on your bench. I would definitely just keep Derrick Henry in. Hopefully he'll produce. Yeah, this matchup looks great. By the way, Jace does have Alvin Kamara coming back. That's a solid flex spot. We'll see how he plays coming back. Romeo Doubs had a big week last week. So, but yeah, in this matchup, geez, man. If this is a tough one for me to pick. Let's go. Let's go Jace. I'll go Jace this week. It's very tough for me to pick Jace, but I think Jace will get the dub. It's going to be very close. It's a toss up for me. So, real quick, I got to check this out, boys. See what's going on. Now, I'm missing a whole bunch in the chat right now. I'll get back to that in a second when I get done with this. Next up, we got Tuck versus Seth. This matchup is going to be another pretty close one, too, I would say. Tuck is a little projected a little bit higher, 52% chance to win. Tuck had a really big week last week. His team coming off that hot streak. We'll see how they play this week. Now with Seth's team, they've been kind of questionable recently these last couple weeks. Justin Jefferson's been carrying, but now Seth has Mike Evans. So his team's looking a lot more intriguing with Aaron Jones coming back this week as well. Joe Burrow's just had a slow start. We'll see how he starts playing. But yeah, I mean, everyone's lineups look great to me. I really do think that Jared Goff over Joe Burrow could be an option for you. I don't know if you want to do that yet. If Joe Burrow gets more healthy and he starts playing better, but that could be something you could think about doing, Seth. But other than that, everyone's looking solid. Tuck, you're getting the dub this week in my mind. Next up, we got Burt versus Connor Calavan. A little bit of a different lineup change for Connor Calavan after some big trades for him. Burt is still riding with Joshua Kelly right now. I would personally start Jalen Warren this week over him, or you could throw Javonte Williams up there and maybe start Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison would be a good flex spot to start this week. Sky Moore is always a good option too. So, but very interesting to continue riding with Joshua Kelly. I wouldn't personally. I think he is a bust. He has not done nothing. He has just been hurting your team, even though you are winning, Burt. I still think you could maybe put up more points with someone else. Calavan's team, on the other hand, Austin Eckler is questionable, should be coming back. I think Burt is just going to make a lineup change. He's probably kind of waiting out with the Eckler situation. I don't know. But, yeah, brand new acquisitions for Connor Calavan. Evan Ingram is now on the team. Terry McLaurin. No. Sorry, not Terry McLaurin. Who's the other pickups you got? Keandre Miller, Joshua Palmer. Joshua Palmer is arguably maybe a start this week over Terry McLaurin, and that's just me. The Chargers offense is looking elite. He's going to need someone else to throw to other than Mike Williams, so Joshua Palmer would be that second option. So that would definitely be a move, Connor, I would think about making. Who's winning this week? Me personally, if Eckler's playing, Connor Calavan's getting the win. If Eckler isn't playing, I think Burt gets the win, but I think Burt needs to make a lineup change. So, anyways, got two more matchups left. We got Chance versus Jack. All right, this is going to be a good matchup. Chance's team came off a pretty big win last week. Now he's in the win column. While Jack is undefeated, he's riding that wave right now. A little questionable for Deebo Samuel. How am I liking these matchups? Josh Allen against Miami, that's going to be an offensive onslaught. Tony Jones Jr., I'm not really too sure what we're going to see from him this week. With Alvin Kamara coming back, so that's a little bit of a risky start for you personally. David Montgomery is questionable, so you could maybe put him in. You got Tank Dell on the bench, and I hate that you have to put him on the bench right now. I feel like he might be a play over Christian Kirk personally, or Zay Flowers, but that is completely up to you. Jack, on the other hand, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Kirk, he's riding with all of them. Jacoby, Darius Slayton, he put into his flex spot this week. So very interesting pickup to put in the flex. But I think that is more intriguing than some of these other players. Darnell Mooney, if he's healthy, might come back and have a pretty good week over a very poorly Denver defense. That's something to look at. But yeah, I got Jack. Anyways, we're going to Andy and Bryce now. Last matchup right here. Andy riding off a 3-0 wave right now. He has 55% chance to win. Anthony Richardson coming back. He is questionable. We'll see if he plays, but it looks like he will. Tony Pollard, Kyron Williams, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley. Garrett Wilson, I do agree. I think he is a sit this week, even though they are playing Kansas City. But Kansas City's defense has looked pretty solid to start the year. But I would play Ridley, Cooper, and Lockett over Wilson for sure. Marquise Brown on the bench too. I'd agree. But yeah, C.J. Stroud wouldn't be a bad start over Anthony Richardson if Richardson ends up not being healthy. But Richardson's got so much upside. I definitely would take that risk starting him. With Bryce's team, on the other hand, really any moves, Brandon Ayuk, since he's coming back, put him in the flex. I do like that play. You do have Atwell, too. Atwell's been playing very well for the Rams. He's always a good start as well. But you got Stephon Diggs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are starts every week regardless. So this flex spot is always going to be iffy for you. Brandon Ayuk, we'll see if he plays pretty well this week. Tutu could have a good game too. Damian Pierce as well. So you are stacked on your bench right now, Bryce. Who I got this week, I'm going to go with Andy. Andy's team's got a lot of upside this week, so I'm going to go with them. All right. So there's the week 4. Real quick, let's go look at this little projected playoff bracket, shall we? Right now, this is just projection playoffs since Jack is 3-0. He's number 1 right now. Whatever. Yeah, this shit doesn't really matter. It's too early. Sorry about that. Standings is what I wanted to get to exactly. So here's the standings. Right now, obviously, Jack and Andy up at the top of SGS East, SGS West. Me second, Kyle's third. We got the same record though. A lot of 1 and 2s here, and then we got an 0 and 3 in crew. So we got 1 0 and 3 right now. Now we got Andy, Bert, Bryce, Tuck, Carson, Seth, and Connor Calavan. So we got a lot of 1 and 2s in that. So it's going to be a toss-up in the West League. Points right now, I still have the most points put up. I currently have, I think, the 40 more than Kyle. Kyle has the second most. So, or no, sorry. Connor Tuck does because he went off this week. So, but yeah, there's that. Pretty interesting. Let's look at these final standing projections real quick. We'll always look at these two, and then I'll give you kind of like some of my picks on like some teams that I think could dip off, could end up being on the bottom, and teams that I think could win. Let's look at this real quick. So right now, number 1 is Andy's team. Andy's team's looking the most solid, while Jack is riding at number 2. Number 3, we got Kyle. Number 4 is me. 5 is Bert. 6 is Bryce. 7 is Tuck. 8 is Seth. 9 is Chance. 10 is Jace. 11 is Connor Calavan. 12 is Carson. 13 is Dylan. And 14 is Crew. Teams on the upside, as you could see, Andy big time. Bert as well. Kyle went up substantially. So, um, yeah, a lot of a lot of trending ups. Trending down is D Perk. Just due to all the injuries he's suffered, his team has taken a big dip. So, but some of his players are coming back, so he might be pretty solid. All right, so me personally, who do I think out of these teams are going to be contending to win it all this year? Right now, I got to look at some teams too. Um, Here, let me click on. So we're going to look at. I might just go to the scoreboard. So with Crew's team, we'll look at Crew first. How I really think about like how his team is built and everything is he's been able to get a lot of solid waiver pickups with Devon A. Chain. Um, that was a big pickup for him if he ends up playing a lot more. Jonathan Taylor with the chance of coming back is a little bit of upside for him, but his team has just not performed well. Wide receivers do not look the best. Um, Crew, unfortunately, being 0-3 and everything, his team is looking like it is going to be one of the bottom ones right now in my eyes just because of how they're looking. A lot of his players could have some upside in the future, but who knows. Carson's team is a little bit on uh, the up. He's starting to trend up with the Bijan Robinson trade. He's got Keenan Allen and Devontae Smith now. So Carson's team's looking a little bit more dangerous now. Do I think this is a team that's going to win it all personally? No, I do not. Because of Jerome Ford, how much longer do you think he's going to keep producing? Gabe Davis has been kind of iffy. Trevor Lawrence has been a little iffy to start the year. So I don't really think that Carson's team has the guts to win it all this year, but I do think he is middle ground. He's going to be one of those middle teams. Dylan's team is beat up. With him, he definitely has a lot of upside with Jalen Waddle and Christian Watson coming back. He's got decent players on the bench. He's got Saquon on IR. He should not on IR, but he's questionable. He could be coming back this week, which would be huge. But I like Dylan's team. Even though he is trending down, I do like his team. He's got some players coming back, and they could end up being really good. So, with that case, Dylan, I think, is another middle ground. I don't think he'll be at the bottom. Next up, Kyle and Jace's teams. Now, with Kyle's team, he's looked really good to start the year. Tua's had a big year. That was a big pickup. Kenneth Walker. CD's a good wide receiver. Michael Pittman. Really just right now, with how his team's structured, health is a big concern. Big time concern for you. And I would say if any of these players, let's say Tua, let's say Derrick Henry, let's say Kenneth Walker gets hurt, if any of those big time players you have get hurt, your team could go to the bottom of the barrel. I think if you stay healthy, you have a very good chance of winning this year. Kyle's team is structured very well with Tua. Derrick Henry needs to start stepping up, but we'll see what happens in Tennessee with that. That's been a very weird situation. It really just all depends on Derrick Henry's play and if he steps up. But I got Kyle. I'm going to play it safe and go middle ground with Kyle too. Jace's team has a lot of upside. Puka Nacua, Alvin Kamara's coming back. Alexander Madison's really one player to kind of worry about a little bit with Cam Akers, Sharon Carries. Christian McCaffrey's big time. Justin Fields needs to step it up. But I think he will. I think Justin Fields is going to start playing a little bit better with some upcoming games. You got Godwin on your bench too. He's a solid wide receiver to always start as well. But me personally, man, I think Jace's team is very solid. He's definitely going to be up there for one of the teams that could win it this year just because of talent perspective. Next up, we got Tuck and Seth. With Tuck's team, Tuck is Tuck had a breakout week. So kind of the concerns I have for Tuck's team is Mostert. Jeff Wilson's going to be coming back. Sharing carries with A-Chain too. I don't really know how that backfield's going to be split up. This is going to be very interesting to watch going forward, if he's going to be healthy too. DK has been solid. Jamar Chase is starting to pick it up now. But yes, I mean, his team structured very well. Tuck is another dangerous team that could win it all this year. Connor Calivan, with his team, he's had a lot of ups and downs, let's say. Daniel, I mean, he just dropped 40 this week. So Connor, he's in desperate mode right now. I am not a big fan of his wide receivers at all. Terry McLaurin and Nico Collins are kind of like wide receivers I am worried to start every week, to be honest with you. Joshua Palmer was a big pickup. He might have a lot of upside towards the rest of the year, or Quentin Johnston. Someone's going to take Mike Williams' targets, so we'll see who it is. Eckler really is your big man guy. Miles Sanders too. Josh Jacobs. So you went running back heavy, and the running backs could produce for you very well, but just because of how beat up, how your wide receivers look and everything, Connor Calivan's another team that I see on the bottom of the barrel. Next up, Chance. Chance's team was beat up, but upside after a dub this week. Chance's team, I am a little iffy about some of Chance's players as well. Now, he does have a lot of good wide receivers. I don't want to say good. I want to say we'll say good, not great. How about that? Zay Flowers is definitely probably number one in Baltimore, so he's got a lot of upside. DeAndre Hopkins has been kind of iffy to start the year. Tennessee's offense looks horrendous. Jacksonville's had a slow start, but you do have Tank Dell. You do have Montgomery most likely coming back. Chance's team is not bad. Josh Allen could carry your team every week, so I think Chance's team is middle ground for me. Jack's team, he has been popping off this year. Jack's team, Kirk Cousins has been a very big pickup QB-wise for you. He's had a great start to the year. The only thing that concerns me about Jack's team is running back concerns. Let's say James Conner or Joe Mixon goes down, which both do have injury pasts. You are looking very, very concerned at running back position right now. So that could really hurt your team. You do have Cooper Kupp coming back at some point this year too. But overall, this team is solid. Jack has been able to carve out wins every week. I give Jack a middle ground just because of his running back situation. So next up, we got Andy. Andy's team is really solid too. I mean, Andy's really popped off this year. He's 3-0 as well. A little concerning with Calvin Ridley so far. He started the year off slow, but you've got two amazing running backs. Amari Cooper's a great wide receiver. You've got good, solid wide receiver. C.J. Stroud's a great backup for you. I think Andy's team's up there. That's one of the teams that could end up winning this year if those two rookie QBs play well. But you do have QBs you can pick from. So now we go with Bryce's team. Bryce has had a good start to the year as well. Bryce with Rachaad White, Isaiah Pacheco, Stephon Amon-Ra. I think just because of how solid your wide receiver core is, and you got a good, decent amount of running backs too. You got three solid ones. I would say that you do have a good chance. Tutu Atwell is a big pickup for you too. I do think that Bryce might have, I think he's upper middle ground, I would say. So Bryce is upper middle ground. Andy's up at the top. I would say Jack is about upper middle ground to the top. I would say upper middle ground for him. Chance, I would say middle ground. Connor is bottom. Hayden is about middle ground for me. Seth is currently about middle ground, like lower middle ground. Tuck is upper middle ground. Could win it though. I would put him maybe up at the top. Jace's team I would put up there at the top too. Kyle's team I would put up about middle ground. Dylan's team Really depends on how his team ends up playing. I would put him at lower middle ground right now. Carson's team, I'd put him at the uh, I would say middle ground for him. Crew bottom. Me, I would say about upper middle ground. My team has been popping off this year, so I would say that I have a chance to win as well. So, but yeah, boys, that should do it. Waiver pickups. I'm not really going to go through those. A lot of the waivers already got picked up. There's really no one worth picking up right now, so no reason for me to get into that. So, but all right, boys, I am out. Peace.